Hi, everybody. In this screencast, I'm going to demonstrate how you can create an online event registration sign-up page. And let's just say it's a free workshop. So to do that, we're going to just go to the navigation bar and under Events, we'll go to New Event. And again, let's say the example is we have a workshop that's coming up. It's a free workshop. It's part of our global climate change campaign, and I want to get that started. So I'm going to choose under event type, I'm going to select workshop. Notice you can have other types and you can create new types. Types are important, especially if you want to be able to search for like anybody who's attended an event of type workshop, regardless of the name, you can do that. So I'm going to click workshop. And for campaign, this event is really part of our Global Climate Changes for Real campaign. So I want to connect that to the campaign. When folks are signing up, we're going to mark them as attendee. Notice there's other roles. You can always assign who's a volunteer, who's a speaker later on manually. But when it's coming online, you really only can pick one. So let's choose attendee. On participant listings, we're going to leave this blank since we usually don't publicize a list of our participants, not in the organizing world. In the event title, let's give, this is the public event that folks are signing up for. So you definitely want to be descriptive. So I'm going to call this our climate change organizing workshop. You can even put the date on here if you want, or again, the date will be listed, but if you want to make that even more explicit, you can. And then in the description here, this complete description area allows you to format. You can even add an image, but I'm going to keep it simple here and just say, please join us for our workshop. And then you need to put a start date and an end date. And I strongly suggest putting in an end date, since if you don't put an end date, PowerBase or the database thinks that this event is going on forever. So if you were doing a search for an event that happens, let's say in the month of February last year, this event would show up because there's no end date, right? So definitely put an end date. Strongly urge you to do that. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to put, let's say it's next month. I'm going to enter next month. And I'm actually going to put the time of when it is. So this is the time of the actual event. So let me put down, keep this simple. All right, so I've got my date and time. Max number of participants really only matters if you have it's an event where you have to limit the number of folks that can come. Maybe it's because of tables, maybe it's capacity of the room, or maybe it's just your own capacity of how many folks you can work with at one time. If you want to share a map you include a map of where the location is, you can check this box. And later on, as you continue configuring this event, you can enter the address of the location. I'm going to leave that off right now. I am going to check that as a public event because folks will be signing up on an online registration form. You also have an option to include an area for social media links if you want to do that. I'm going to leave that off for now just to keep things simple. And the is this event active will always be checked on, and I'm going to click continue. Tips always show up. PowerBase likes to give you tips. I'm going to turn that off for now. So we'd already finished entering things under info and settings. That was that first page. We then land on this event location. Again, if you want to include a map, this is where you would enter the address and other information. And you always want to make sure you click save if you change anything on any tab. But I'm not going to enter anything here. We're going to move on. This is a free event, so we're not even going to enter fees. So we can move on. So we just need the online registration. So I'm going to click on the online registration tab. I'm going to allow the online registration. And here, this registration link text, this is basically the button that shows up for folks to register. So you can leave it as register now, or you can say, you can change the text, sign up now, whatever you want to have the button say, type it in there. The registration start date and end date matters if you want to control when registration is only allowed to start and when it stops, right? And usually sometimes this happens when folks are planning a bigger event and they need to know a couple days before how many people are coming. So you may put in the actual start and end date of when folks can actually sign up. But if you don't care, since this is an open workshop, I just want people to sign up. I don't care if they continue to sign up late or just because they're going to show up late. I just want them to be able to sign up. So I'm going to leave it just blank. Now, later on, we'll be talking about if you want to register multiple participants at one time, and this same email addresses has to do with if you're registering multiple participants who may not have email addresses. We'll talk about that like next time. The DDupe rule, this duplicate matching rule, is usually you want to set it to your unsupervised rule, which is your strictest rule. It's a way for the database, for PowerBase, to know that if whoever's signing up, it's going to check against your strict rule, which may be the first name, last name, and email. It could be something else, but it'll use that rule and check it against the contacts that are already in the database. So if it's a match, it will update the existing record. If it's not a match, it will create a new contact record with the participant record in it. The pending, we will leave that for later and allow self-service for cancellation. We'll leave that for another time. The registration screen. So this I'm going to keep simple. You could write information here about your information about registration. All you do is click and edit, and again, you get all this formatting if you want, but you don't have to. And the next piece here is include a profile. Now this is important because if you want to collect information of the folks who are signing up. We're going to use a default profile that already comes with the database called your registration info. You can see if I preview it, it's just first name, last name, and email address. You can create a new profile or update the profile, or at least create a new one with other fields that you want to. Maybe you want an address, maybe you want a phone number. You can decide on that. But for now, we're going to use the default registration. Again, you can include other profiles. Since this is a very simple sign up, there is no money being involved. I just want folks to sign up for the workshop. I'm not going to use a confirmation screen. And the reason is that if you have a confirmation screen, that means they have to yet click another, end up going to another screen, and they think that they've registered, but they haven't. They still would have to click yet another button to actually register. So I'm just going to remove that confusing element by removing the confirmation screen. Then after the next flow is once they register, they can, it lands on a thank you screen. And then here you can say thank you for registering. Here you can add more text. Again, if I open this up, you can add more information on that screen. Then you can also send a confirmation email, which is a good idea since they are signing up online and they just want verification that it went through. So you can enter your message here. Thanks for signing up. And you can enter additional message saying, we'll give you more information later. Keep an eye on it. Put who the email is from. And I'm just going to put our email in here. And then remember, hit save before you move on to any other tab. So I'm going to click on save. So basically, we're done for a very simple online page. You really only need the online registration and the info and settings, and that's it. So I'm going to just click save and done. We'll talk about these other pieces in future, in other screencasts. So I'm going to click on save and done. All right. Now notice you are here. You can see your event is down listed here. Let's say you were someplace in the database and you're wondering, how do I get to this screen to see where all my upcoming events are? You would just go to the menu, Events, Manage Events. And just so you know, it's only going to show the upcoming events. If you wanted to see prior events, previous events, you would click on Find Events, Search All, and then click Search. All right. But in the meantime, our events are here. And right now, if you want the event link registration, the registration link, you would just click on next to the climate change workshop. On their event links, you can just click on, see this event info? Now I'm going to be logged in, so it's going to look weird. But if I click the logged in, if I just open up this link, you can see that right now I'm logged in, so that's why I'm seeing the menu. But notice there's a register now there already. But the link that you would give them is this, the link that shows up for the event info. This is basically, the event info is basically the landing page for your event. There's another link that would be useful, and that link here would be the event registration live. So let's say you had your event landing page, the information page is somewhere else. Maybe it's on your website, for example, and you only want to just show just the registration form. You could also just hand out this other link, and I'm just going to open up the link. The link here. Again, I'm logged in. This is not what it looks like publicly. You would just, and that's why it has my name in it, but you would just put out this link, and that's just the form, right? So back on the landing page, see that register now? If I click on that, it's going to go to that form, the same form. Okay. So again, that's how it looks like. That's what it would look like when, that's where the event link is. Again, under event links, you can choose if you want to start with the event info, the landing page, and give that link, or just the form, which is just the registration live. And you could put that link on a button in your mass email, or put that link out in, on a shortened URL and post that on your social media. Lots of ways to do that, even putting it up on your website. And that's how you use and create an online event registration form.